7 signs you're rich, even if it doesn't feel like it. It's not enough to have a high-paying job and a glamorous social life. You can't just be surrounded by people you want to be around. Sometimes, to be rich, you have to know what your true worth actually is and stop leaping for the superficial edge of the pool. In this video, I'll go over some signs you may just be one of the lucky few with money in the bank, instead of counting pennies in your pocket. 1. You're not a victim of the haves and have-nots. Imagine this. You have a new job that pays you $1 million per year. Meanwhile, your friend who is working the same job for 30 years has a pension worth $300,000 per year. What do you really gain? Nothing. You may get all the perks of having a luxury lifestyle, but you end up with nothing. If you're lucky like me, you have a job that pays you by the hour. You get paid the same amount whether you work an 8-hour day or a 5-hour day. The full-time workers with pensions are always complaining that they are never done with their day's work. They think they are rich because they make more money than me. This is what I call rich envy, because it is just a superficial means of reaching a goal of being rich without realizing that it doesn't make them any happier. 2. You don't have to spend hours looking for work. I recently had a conversation with someone who was complaining that they used to work for another company and they spent a lot of time looking for jobs. They claimed they went on 4 interviews in 1 week and it was really tiring. The reality is that those people were doing this simply because they were desperate. Because they wanted more money, which is the ultimate goal of an employee, their job search was not efficient. 3. You don't have to call into work sick. When I was working for my current position, I had a sickness plan. When I first started at my job, my ex-boss told me not to bother with it because no employers actually take sick leave seriously. Well, they do now because I get paid a little more than the minimum wage for being on long-term disability, limited, which means that when I worked for another company, if I got sick at all, it meant that I might have to take off the next 2 weeks of work. When you start a new job or continue a job after any type of leave, this fact is taken into consideration, as well as medical records. 4. You don't have to worry about securing housing. This one is very important because if you waste money on bad credit because the landlord gives you a bad review or doesn't give the rent back to your company when it's due, it can really hinder your ability to get another job at another place. If you use a guarantor, they are guaranteed not to give you any bad references, and therefore the landlord cannot do anything about it. What it means is that when you work for a company, they will expect you to live in a place that is reasonably close to the workplace and not have a long commute. 5. You can afford expensive things without worrying about it. There are many people who feel good when they buy an expensive watch. But then after the first week, they feel bad because they didn't get any compliments on their watch or anyone wants to know what kind of watch they have. These are the people who don't know where their money goes. When you work for someone else, they expect you to have a watch so that when you go out of the office, everyone knows how much money you make and what kind of car you drive. 6. You can afford to spend your holiday in a luxury location around the world. In my first job, my company flew me around the world for work. I had to fly business class because I earned a certain amount of money. This was infuriating because there are some people who have worked for my company for years and they make $4,000 per month, which is minimum wage in another country. I had to fly business class even though my company is much costlier than the employees who don't have the money, because my job was confirmed as highly paid. 7. You work for yourself and have the freedom to do what you like. It's funny how many people see this as a negative because they are used to working for someone else and don't think they have any control over their lives. But when you work for yourself, your life is your own. It means that when times are hard financially, you can always pay off debt or sell off products that you don't want or need anymore. When times are hard, you can work on a side project like I do, which allows me to have freedom and create my own source of income. So there you have it. If you ask me about being an entrepreneur, I will tell you that being an employer is a lot of work because you have to actually go into the office and work on a job. But if you ask me about being an entrepreneur, I will tell you that there's nothing as satisfying as working for yourself and having full control over your life. You can always change your mind back if things aren't going so well, but there are no surprises or repercussions. You take every day as it comes, and the good days outweigh all of the bad. If you found this video informative, hit like and subscribe button for more amazing content.